In this session, we will look at meeting the needs of registered teachers. There's some frequently asked questions that are addressed by IBSA, Innovation and Business Skills Australia, the industry council that developed the Certificate 4 and other training and education packages. And a frequently asked question is, why should teachers who are currently registered, currently teaching and hold an AQF level much higher than a Certificate 4 in their graduate diplomas of education need to have a Certificate 4 in training and assessment, or a TAE 40110? Now, the Certificate 4 in training and assessment, according to IBSA, will build your skills to meet vet sector requirements. The gaps that you currently may need to fill are understanding competency-based training and assessment, very different from criterion-based K-12 curriculum. Industry, enterprise and workplace-based. So that is a key factor. This is the difference between a K-12 curriculum and the vet sector. This unit covers training packages. This is part of the gap that we're covering in the complementary unit. Assessment tools and the validation process, as well as AQTF essential standards for registration and all current legislation and benchmarks. They also encourage you to talk to a registered training organisation about your current qualifications and experience. So we'll discuss now recognised prior learning and credit transfer. So your needs as a teacher are to obtain recognition of current competency and to obtain recognised prior learning and credit transfer for your higher AQF qualifications in education. So let's break down both of those. The credit transfer, that's an assessment done at the initial stages. So we want to have a look at your current qualifications and put them through an assessment process and determine any gaps that are needed. Then there's recognition of prior learning that assesses your non-formal or informal learning and experiences. Let's look at the RPL process. So you make the application, evidence is collected. We don't then go in depth into every performance criterion of every element. We look at it more as a holistic situation. So it's quite labour intensive for your qualified assessor to work through your individual recognised prior learning. Everybody's experiences, everybody's documented evidence is unique. So after that holistic process is done through probably some third-party verification, perhaps your employer, some competency conversation. So some of the areas that your assessor, and it will only be an assessor who is an expert at the TAE 40110 qualification. So they will understand right down to each performance criterion any gaps. So they would then fill in some of those gaps with some conversations. And then perhaps there might also be some practical demonstrations required. The purpose of this module, though, is to look at suitable electives. So your needs as a teacher is to try and identify some of the units of competency for your recognised prior learning, for your credit transfer and for your current competency. So let's go into the training package. Okay, the elective units, let's have a look here. These are some that are highlighted that cover quite a lot of a currently registered teacher's skill set and knowledge, with some minor gaps that could be dealt with through the RPL process or additional training and assessment. So provide work skill instruction, facilitate e-learning, and some from the imported units, make a presentation, develop teams and individuals, build client relationships and business networks. So your assessor will be familiar with all of those training packages, and through some initial conversations with you, determine or suggest to you which 3 would bring you, the closest outcome to, your recognised prior learning and credit transfer.